But Charlotte is not only the location for ACC football kickoff this week, it's also where the Carolina Panthers are starting off training camp. They were practicing today. How about it?
Yeah,
like actually practicing
Helmets
today.
only, but still practicing.
They were on a football field. They used pigskins. It's practice to me. And part of the story of this year for the Panthers, and Dennis, maybe it's just me, but because of the way last season went, where there was this first 2 games that was so brutal, and then the benching, and you have the Andy Dalton era, and then you have the Bryce Young resurgence, and you have similar ups and downs with the defense, and you have this period where Adam Thielen's not out there with the hamstring for a while, and there were all of these differences. Sometimes it's hard to remember that Dave Canales is going into his second year as head coach of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, because he's lived through it already.
Because
in so many ways.
It's like he's had victory press conferences. He's had, PR damage control press conferences.
Had to bench my QB. He had to go through all of it.
It feels like he's been here forever, but this is just his second year, which means it's the first time he's gotten to say, I tried this, it didn't work. Let me try this time, right? Last time I came in with all these glorious ideas that I stole from Pete Carroll or that I got from Todd Bowles, and turns out it doesn't work for me, and I need to change it. And I think that is, it's not the same as a Dan Quinn in Washington, where it's like, oh, you've been a head coach for a long time, and you already kind of know the ins and outs. This was Dave Canales' first run at it, which means starting today, it's his first time doing something again. You know what I mean? It's the first time getting a second chance at it. And Dave Canales spoke with the media after practice about how he feels coming into his second training camp.
Oh, it feels great. I just, honestly, it really starts with the players. I think it's more just they understand the expectation of what a great practice looks like for us from start to finish, the transition in between. Everybody's moving around. That when you're not in, you're talking football, and all those things are happening, and so it feels a lot different knowing that I have a group of leaders that have my back, and that understand the expectation that myself and the coaching staff is looking for.
Now, he would never say this, but what he just said also kind of means what I'm about to tell you. If you read between the lines, at the beginning of last year, they didn't have each other's back. Right. And how could they? Right. They didn't know each other. They hadn't been through battles yet. Yeah. So, him saying it's nice to have leaders on the team that have my back is another way of saying last year we were still earning each other's trust. Right. We still didn't know each other. And maybe that showed up a bit in those early struggles.
We heard Robert Hunt even say something along those same lines yesterday. Hey, what'd you expect last year, as opposed to this year? And he's like, honestly, I didn't expect anything because it was so much unknown. Like there were so many new parts, new pieces, new people. There's hard to understand or know anything going into last year.
And I'm not saying it would have changed the entire season, but I do think once you've been in a metaphorical foxhole with a guy a few times, if you come out and you give up a 60-yard touchdown pass and then throw an interception on your first offensive drive, you react better knowing the guy next to you is somebody that you're down with, right? So again, I don't think they win game 1 last year if the wheels fall off, but hey, they like each other. But it does change the way you react to those situations, or at least the speed that they react to those decisions. If it's about the player, he's got to be more confident in Bryce Young coming into year 2.
Hope.
Dave Canales on what he saw out of Bryce Young in his first day of camp.
I don't know that I see anything new necessarily. My expectation for Bryce is to lead this team, which he never stopped doing all throughout last year, even with the challenges that it presented. But he just came right back in, and from the moment we went out there for center quarterback exchange, it's like his familiarity with the system, his command of everything is just like we just picked up where we left off in the spring, to be able to push our concepts and our systems forward, which is really the goal is can we master this so we can add little nuances. And so I feel like, coming in with the type of rhythm and the type of command gives us a chance to continue to grow those things.
I agree with all of that. I think that's a bit coach speaky, but also I do think Dave Canales is the type of guy that wants to turn over more control to his quarterback, right? It's almost like a proud thing when it's like, no, you handle this drive. Not fully, right? But hey, if you see something change the play, I do think he wants to empower Bryce, but that's again that trust building process that only comes with time. And by all accounts, and actually, Dennis, this is a good thing to ask you since you were out there for practice today.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he has at least appeared, right, as much as you can appear to somebody. The media, we don't know the calls. We don't know what, check Ralph means or whatever, probably to the right. But it appears as if he's taken a lot of control of the offense. Like he's the one kind of running the show unless there is a coach stopping the action and making a teaching point.
It kind of ties into the very last play that we saw at the end of practice. They were doing 11-on-11 drills and such, and they recognized, he and Austin Corbett recognized there's a blitz coming. And Corbett calls it out like, hey, wait, hold on, check, there's a blitz coming over here. Bryce recognized it too, and he's up at the line of scrimmage adjusting stuff, and now the defense brought a ton of pressure. They actually still got the Bryce, but at least it's like the play recognition and things like that ahead of time. Like, he was trying to get them into the right place. Again, you're not wearing pads, so it's kind of hard to fully tell what would happen on a given play since it's not full contact, but still, you can kind of tell just his communication with his receivers and his running backs, tight ends, like everyone up front. You could tell that he was in much more command, and you could see the confidence in himself where it's like, I know what to do, or at least I trust myself. If I make a decision, I'm going with it, and I'm not going to second guess myself.
It's my offensive coordinator used to say, don't hope you're right.
Yeah.
You have to know you're right? Because if you're hoping you're right, you're up there going like, all right, I think he's going to break in on this based on the defense. But if you know you're right, you're like, all right, when he hits that break, I'm throwing it, right? I'm letting it go. And that's the only way it works. And obviously at the NFL, it's times 100 and it's faster and the windows are smaller, times 1,000, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying it's a long way better, but that's the next step for Bryce, right? Is to know he's right in all those situations, not make the same mistake twice, snap and throws off, and we'll see if it happens. I do appreciate the media helping us put a bow on one of our conversations from yesterday.
Yeah.
So yesterday, our question of the day for the Panthers, the final one of the whole offseason, because we don't ask them once practice starts, was what are the expectations for the Carolina Panthers? And we talked about it. And then Dave Canales today was asked, what does a successful season look like this year? Which is a very similar question. And here's his answer.
Weekly growth, and right now our focus is having a great camp. For me, it's owning the system and working ourselves into condition to where we can be ready to play week one. That's the focus, and I think with this group, with just talking to the guys in the team meeting, with the group that we've brought together, how quickly can we play together? How quickly can we communicate and show that style of football that we want to put out there, and I think that the sky's the limit for this group. I think that this is going to be a very competitive team. I don't think people are going to want to play us by the style of football that we play. I'm expecting that. My expectations are really high for this group. They are every year, and we're going to shoot for as good as we can get. My language to the group is, I want to make sure we maximize the talent in this room. That'll take us as far as we need to go, but that's going to be our focus.
There's a lot of coach speak in that answer.
A little bit.
I do think there's a nugget right in the middle that means something, which is I don't think teams are going to want to play us.
Yeah.
I've long said that, the post-game quick handshake, the best compliment a team can or a coach can give to another coach is when you're shaking hands, even if you won, you say, glad we don't have to see you again.
Yeah.
That right there is the coach is like, all right, we may have lost, but fellas, you worked, you played our brand of football. I think that's, again, it's not tangible, right? And he's never going to come out and say 8 wins would be successful and then lean back. But there is something there. When a team is happy to not play you again, right? When at the end of a game, they're like, we escaped with that one, even if you won, right? I think some of the games later in the season, the Chiefs game, the Eagles game, those were good teams walking away going, whew.
Yeah.
If that would have went 5 quarters, I'm not sure we'd come out with that one.
So for Panthers playbook, Chris Lee and I had a conversation one-on-one with Tershawn Wharton, the defensive lineman they signed for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I asked him about that. Hey, you played here against this Panthers team right here in Charlotte. What was your impression of them? And he's like, Bryce took it to us. We kind of got away with that one a little bit. But he's like, they took it to us a little bit in a sense. We had a dogfight against them. And lucky that they pulled out a win. And he's like, Bryce slung it around on us and everything. It's that same type thing. And it's but now this roster, everything on paper, what we're seeing, health obviously being a factor, it's better. And you anticipate these young guys making a natural step up from last year to this year. Yeah, they're going to be a tough out this year for sure.